Hey guys, it's 604 Comics here. I've got my weekend reviews all lined up. If you didn't catch my in-depth review of Polarity issue number 1, go ahead and click that cover right now and you'll be taken to that video. But this is the weekend review and I'll be starting off as usual from worst to best. Starting off, we have Jojo Special Missions issue number 2. In this issue, we had Baroness taking her crew and the ship going into the sea and she's trying to retrieve a package. Scarlet and Mainframe have gone out there as well to intercept her, and we also see that the Serpenter has gone to talk to this Sir Anthony character who was being bribed by Baroness, so he would give her his boat. Now Serpenter has gone and rescued Sir Anthony's grandchildren, so we'll see what kind of role that's going to play regarding Serpenter and Baroness and the G.I. Joe team in issue number 3, but I didn't really find issue number 2 that exciting. I felt a little bit less loss with this issue as I did with issue number 1, probably because I had that first issue under my belt, but still nothing really spectacular about this issue, so I'm going to give the first story arc a chance, and after that I'll decide if I want to continue. So I've got 2 more issues after this, and then I'll see. Next we have issue number 9 of Mind the Gap. This was the silent issue where there was no dialogue and it was all just art. Now, when I heard about the solicits for this, I was really excited because I'm a huge fan of Roden Esco's art. But when you get into this book, the art is actually not by Roden Esco. It is by let's see, Dan McDade. Now, I'm not saying his art is bad, but it's just not what I was expecting. It was not Esco's art, and I felt that it kind of distracted from the story. Now, if McDade did his own art on a totally separate book, that would have been fine, and it would have been great, but it wasn't something that I was expecting for Mind the Gap, especially for this silent issue. And I felt that the story in this issue was kind of drawn out, and it probably could have been done in a few pages. So now, I was disappointed with this issue, and that's kind of sad because I really like this series. There's one more issue in this story arc, Wish You Were Here, and that's issue number 10. And then I believe in issue number 11, we have a new artist, Samri Basri, who you guys might know from Power Girl and Voodoo, and he'll be starting art duties on the next story arc. So I think I'm probably going to be picking up issue number 10, and then I think I might convert this into a trade. I feel that Mind the Gap reads a lot better in trade format, so that's what I'm going to be planning to do. Next up, we have World's Finest, issue number 11. In this issue, Power Girl and Huntress are still trying to find out what the deal is with Michael Holt, whether he's vanished or he's disappeared, and they go searching for some stuff in his office, and then they end up going to one of Holt Industries' events, and at the end we see Michael Holt there, Mr. Terrific, and it turns out it's not really him, it is this monster character who I'm not too familiar with. If you've been reading this series, and I'm sure you'll be enjoying this, I just caught up with World's Finest from 0 through 10, and I have been enjoying it. This one kind of lacked a little bit, but the ending does have me interested to see who that character is in issue number 12. Following that, we have Earth 2, issue number 11. Again, with this issue, there was so much dialogue, so much writing that it kind of bogged down the story, and it kind of felt like a chore trying to read it. I was happy to see, I'm going to do a gatefold, spoiler for you guys. I was happy to see Fury back in the mix. I'm not too familiar with that character, so I don't know who that is, but basically Steppenwolf is back and Fury is back, and Flash is trying to help try to find the helmet for Naboo, and we also get the reveal of Dr. Fate at the end of the issue. So that is what this issue was all about, and I think it's going to start to pick up pretty soon. Hopefully there's not going to be as much writing in the next issue because I just felt that it was too much in this one. Next up, another DC title. We have Green Lantern, issue number 19. This is, I'm going to call it part 3 of Wrath of the First Lantern. It was really heavy on Sinestro. I'm going to do another gatefold spoiler for you guys. We have Sinestro here on the cover, and he's Green Lantern, but he's got the Yellow Lantern in his hand, so I think this might be foreshadowing of what's going to happen to Sinestro. And also at the end, it kind of leads towards that as well. But in this issue, we have the First Lantern interacting with Sinestro and showing him what could have happened and how his past could have been changed. Hal Jordan's still stuck in that dead negative zone, that dead place with all the other characters, and it looks like he's going to sacrifice himself in order to, I guess, destroy the First Lantern. At the end, we see a really intriguing ending with Sinestro and the Yellow Lantern. So I'm going to go ahead and predict issue 21. We're going to see Sinestro return back to the Yellow Lantern, and Hal Jordan's going to be the Green Lantern again. So that is what I think. Next, we have Bedlam, issue number 6. So this has been a title I always look forward to reading every month. This is the end of the first story arc. It's also the last issue that Riley Rossmo's doing art on. One of the reasons why I like this series so much is because of Riley Rossmo's art, so I'm not sure how the next issue is going to be. I can't remember who it is that's doing the art on the next issue, but in this issue wraps up the first story arc. Fillmore Press has gone to the jail to talk to the priest, and I guess he struck a deal so that the serial killer that's been killing everybody in this first story arc, the priest calls him up, and then he, I guess, says something to him, and then he kills himself. And we think that that's it. It's over. All the killings are done. But then we get this really big spoiler at the end where we find out that the killings are probably not done. If you've read this issue, then you know what I'm talking about. Here's Bedlam issue number 6. I enjoyed it. And like I said, I'm not sure what the art's going to be like going forward. But I think this might be a series where at this point, I'm also going to switch this over to a trade. I'm trying to cut down on the number of books, and I feel that Bedlam might just read better as a trade. So I'll flip through the next issue, see how the art is, but that is what I'm thinking right now. Finally, down to the last 3 books. Superior Spider-Man actually ranked pretty high on my list this week. It's not because of Humberto Ramos' art. I pointed out his big bird feet on the cover, and it's really distracting. But enough about the art, the story inside. We see that the Avengers have taken notice to Superior Spider-Man's vicious and ruthless methods of taking down his villains and the bad guys. And the Avengers don't believe that he is Superior Spider-Man. Oh, they don't believe he is Peter Parker, and they want to give him a head-to-toe checkover. And Doc Ock is not having any of it. And then by the end of the issue, we see that it's probably going to be a showdown. A lot more Ghost Peter Parker in this issue than there were in the past couple of issues, but I think Dan Slott's actually starting to go somewhere with that. It sounds like Doc Ock is now almost able to hear Peter Parker when Peter Parker is really vocal about what he wants and doesn't want Doc Ock to do. So that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to see going forward. Number 2 for Best of the Week, for the fast reviews at least, is Green Arrow issue number 19. Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino, killing it on this book. Jeff Lemire's doing a brilliant job writing this. Andrea Sorrentino's doing the gritty art, and in this issue it doesn't stop. The time frame for what happens in this book is really short, but Jeff Lemire packs in so much action and information in just that little brief period of time that I really enjoyed this book a lot. And Komodo fighting with Green Arrow and then bringing in Komodo's daughter was a really good move because I was really interested to see what and how that was going to play out. So Green Arrow is surprisingly one of the top DC books on my list these days, so big props to Lemire. And finally, if I don't count Polarity, my pick of the week is All New X-Men issue number 10. Last issue we saw Scott Summers and his team of Uncanny X-Men come to the Jean Grey School. In this issue we see that Scott wants any members of the Jean Grey School students to go join him, because at the Xavier School you're going to learn how to train and defend yourselves and fight for the mutant race. And that is Scott Summers' pitch to these guys. Now, going through this issue while I was reading it, I had some suspicions as to who I thought was going to jump over to Scott Summers' team. I thought young Scott Summers was going to jump over the team, but we know that that doesn't happen based on the last page. But someone does. And reading halfway through this issue, I think it might be Present Day Beast that might jump over to Scott Summers' team, just so Brian Michael Bendis can throw something wild and wacky out there. Another person who I think might jump over to Scott Summers' team is maybe original Jean Grey, because I think she might want to try to play that spy role, and she might have enough of her telekinesis powers to avoid being detected by Emma Frost. So those are my predictions for the next issue. Thank you all for watching this review and listening to me speak for about 12 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed your comics. Let me know below in the comments below what you thought about any of these issues. I am going to run off now and pick up some comic books, and I'll probably have a haul for you guys tomorrow. But hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have fun, be safe, and I will catch you guys later. Ciao.